inside. We went to a defensive attack at that point. We have agencies from all over Erie County, including state agencies coming in to assist us at this point. The fire was brought under control overnight, and we're just starting the investigation phase at this point. The industrial hazards that we were concerned about have been mitigated. We are doing monitoring with the DEC and state agencies to make sure that there are no hazards that come up. But at this point, the Town of Amherst Fire Inspector's Office is taking the lead investigation to determine cause and origin.
And I assume that's you.
Correct, yes.
Well, can you tell us about what you've learned so far, or even the work you need to do at this point?
Everything is very beginning into the investigation process. At this time, we're just starting the whole investigation procedure, so we don't have much information to share with you at this time.
Well, what do you need to do? 4:30, I'm kind of assuming there were people in here. Do you need to interview them? What?
Yep, there were some individuals within the building. We are in the process currently interviewing some of those individuals. We're getting other information from the building department related to the history of the building, and we're documenting pictures of the current status into what our next step's going to be.
You had mentioned that there were the industrial hazards inside the building. Could you exactly explain what those hazards were, and worst case scenario, what would have happened with these hazards if it got worse?
So there were chemicals different chemicals that we were concerned with how they would react with fire and water. We don't have them all identified at this point, but we had monitoring ongoing almost immediately, and the general public was in no immediate danger. The evacuation or isolation message that we put out last night was just precautionary, and there were no reported injuries or illness due to these chemicals.
So in terms of exposure to whatever, you're not so worried about that for people?
Nope, and that's why we have the ongoing monitoring at this point. If anything changes, we would put notification out, but everything seems to be stabilized.
Yeah, it's my understanding, and I wasn't here last night, that this firm makes PPE. Personal protection equipment. I'm assuming it's the masks and stuff we needed during COVID. So what kinds of chemicals would be involved in that?
That's what we're still determining. We haven't been able to really get crews inside to break down exactly what all the chemicals were, but there was a large stockpile of PPE items that was also burning.
One thing I noticed last night, and my only association with this was trying to get home and having to drive around. And as I came down here, I saw fire trucks, it had to be a mile from here, pumpers, loading up at whatever hydrant they had, which told me you didn't have a lot of water, or certainly enough water at the scene to deal with it.
Right, this is a large warehouse that was fully involved, so we needed water from different mains, because the water mains can only pump so much. And we also had tanker trucks actually coming in from our southern tier and Genesee County partners to help with water relay operations.
Sure. How long do you guys expect to be here today? Obviously, it's an ongoing investigation, but are you expecting that the main transit company is going to have to be here throughout the entire day, say even tomorrow?
That's a good possibility. At this point, we're still looking for some hot spots, some hidden fire that we haven't gotten access to. So we'll be here as long as we need to till it's determined 100% safe, and then the fire investigators will stay on scene for probably quite some time.
What do people need to know? I'm sorry. What do people need to know if they are in the area? I mean, obviously, don't come right to the fire scene, but are there any traffic impacts that people need to be aware of?
Just a couple local areas blocked off with parking lots in some of the streets here, but there's no real impact to the businesses.
If I could just get back to the point I was trying to ask you about the amount of water you had to get and had to go to get. Is that one of the reasons why this thing burned for as long as it did?
Not necessarily. We had multiple aerial ladders and pumper engines in place providing the water supply we needed. There was just a huge fire load, and it just took time to extinguish that fire load.
The building itself.
Last night we saw some of the video. There was a lot of smoke going on. It looked really, really intense. Can you tell us more about the process of trying to get this thing under control initially?
It was just, like I said, a lot of combustible products burning, It's a warehouse, so there was racks of products that we just needed to get lots of water on, get it cooled down and extinguished.
Brad, when all was said and done, and you mentioned your Genesee County partners, because I was trying to drive down Route 33 and I saw the mutual aid system. You know, they're obviously those guys in Millville, I think, were here, and somebody else was minding the store there. Total number of firefighters and companies involved. Do you have any idea?
I don't have an exact number. I was told this morning that we've utilized probably approximately 50 different departments and agencies at this point, and that includes backfilling departments that brought all their resources here so that nobody was left without coverage throughout Erie County. And we really, the county agencies and our town dispatchers did a phenomenal job requesting mutual aid for us so that we could keep everywhere else covered and bring the resources we need here.
But in terms of the number of firefighters, companies, we don't know exactly.
Probably a couple hundred.
A couple hundred, yeah, sure. Now, this is the building right here, right?
Correct, yep.
It's still standing. I mean,
there's a front office area that looks to be mostly intact. The warehouse area in the back suffered substantial damage.
Is there still a frame to this building, or if you know, I can't go back there and look, I don't think so. Describe that to me.
There are partial walls. We pretty much had collapse of the rear wall and the roof.
What sort of resources did the state give to you guys? Governor Cuomo said that additional state resources came in. You mentioned 50 different companies came in. What did the state do?
The state brought in, they have a hazmat team, an investigation team to assist with our town investigators. They brought in water suppression and foam suppression units. So the state, along with the county's provided us with our trailers here to do command out of, along with numerous investigative and operation support.
Hold on a second. Just one question for you. I don't know how long you've been a firefighter. I imagine there's guys on your team that have been firefighter. Is this like, in terms of what you've ever had to deal with, how does this rank?
This is the biggest event that I've been part of in my career. I'm being told it's one of the biggest fires in the history of the town of Amherst based off the complexity of it and the resource need.
Anything you want to add that maybe we didn't get to?
No, I just want to thank all of the resources that helped us, including, all of the volunteer agencies, Buffalo Niagara Airport, Niagara Falls Airport, county, state resources from really all different divisions and sectors, our town of Amherst officials, highway department, dispatchers, that did really a phenomenal job in supporting our efforts here.
All right, that's name, trend, do you want to describe about the fire that broke out yesterday at Premium PPE in Amherst? As you mentioned, the fire happened yesterday afternoon.
We got nothing.
There's really not much
You
else
got
more to
nothing.
say.
I think the question was what you need to do to get something. I've never inspected a fire before. Most people watching this haven't. So, I mean, they're like the process.
The process is systematic, kind of a fairly complex process as far as, obviously, the interview process to an investigation is very crucial to helping us determine where to look and what to look for. And then to that point, there's a lot of telltale signs within a building towards how certain items burn than others, how maybe some steel may deflect or transform other than other areas to determine an area where it may be affected. So,
And it's one of the first things you'd notice when you come up, park your cars, arson investigation unit. Is there something we should read into that?
no, it's just the terminology they use on their vehicle, so it's just cause and origin for the fire. Pigeon, P-I-D-G-E-O-N. fire inspector, town of Amherst.
Brad, you're the chief, right?
Chief of Main Transit Fire Department. And if you guys, I've got no issue if you guys stay on Lawrence Bell if you want to get some footage of the actual burned area. So Lawrence Bell being this street, as long as you stay on that and just kind of stay behind.
Can we access it from here or no? Or do we have to go out and around?
Where are you parked?
Well, where are you parked, Bill? We all parked over there. 'Cause-
Probably just to